Okay, see, this is the last video that I'm going to make in response to your comments. And the fact that I haven't deleted any of your comments as of yet, considering how incredibly rude you've been, not just to me, but to the sibling survivors who are standing up for me and themselves, is nothing short of a miracle. And the fact that I hadn't read through them all as carefully as I have now. I literally went backwards to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And so I'm going to leave the comments that are standing unless a survivor out there says that it's triggering for them, in which case I will remove your comment right away, because I really want to make sure this continues to be a safe space. And what a safe space looks like is not invalidating others, calling people names, saying that they're dangerous, trying to be inflammatory, and being disrespectful. That is not a safe space. If you want to disagree and be constructive in your comments, that's more than welcome here. But being insulting, diminishing, and downright lying because you don't know anything about me, that's not going to be welcome. So I'm going to clarify that right now, because you made a comment about, oh, it's all fine and well unless we disagree with you, and that's not the case. I've had many people disagree with me. I respond to their comments and we have dialogue. That's it, that's all. And sometimes we don't come to an agreement, and that's okay. As long as we're maintaining a level of respect, it doesn't matter if we actually end up agreeing or not. People have different ways of looking at the world. But for you to sit here and say that what I'm doing is dysfunctional, does that mean living in silence, not talking about my past, which apparently, according to your comments, which I'll include at the end of this video, I should just get over the past. It was 30 years ago. Why am I still talking about it? And you went down that whole path. You called me a gaslighter, a manipulator, said I was dangerous, and that I shouldn't be leading people. And by the way, my name is Marnie, not Marner. How am I manipulating anybody by sharing what I went through in my life? How am I harming anybody by sharing my story when every single person on the planet has the power to scroll on by butterfly? So how is it exactly that I'm dangerous when I share my story? Is it because I'm no contact with my abusers? Is that considered dangerous? I wonder. I never tell people to go no contact. I share my experience with it. Each person has to make their way in this world and make their own decisions for what works best for them. So how am I dangerous? And how isn't it dysfunctional to go after a survivor of abuse and try to silence them? Do you know why the dysfunction existed in the first place? The abuse existed and continued in the first place? Do you understand? Because in narcissistic family systems, all the people who are not the scapegoats work together to throw the scapegoat under the bus and carry on the abuse so that they don't have to look at and fix their lives. And as long as that scapegoat is silent, that abuse continues. When we find our voice, it's so funny how those very same people will say, oh, that Marnie, like there's something wrong with her now. Like, is she thinking sensibly? As soon as we start going, oh, I don't want to be a part of this anymore if you can't respect my boundaries. As soon as we put a boundary down, all of a sudden we're crazy-er, because we were already crazy. They were already painting us that way. But now we're off the charts. Like now starts the thing of, oh, are you okay? When we're actually thinking clearly. But hey, it's not dysfunctional to stay within that family system. It's not dysfunctional to stay in the silence. It's dysfunctional to stand up and speak out, share, and give people a safe space to heal together. Where are you basing your opinions? Like, where is this coming from? I'm hoping that you will comment back something that's constructive and give me examples of where it is I'm gaslighting, manipulating, and dangerous in a constructive manner. I'm looking for fact here. How is it functional to just get over it and leave the past in the past rather than working through trauma? How is that? How does that even make sense? In one of your comments, you also said that you would never, ever allow a child to be abused, something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. It will be at the end of the video because I can't remember every word you said. So I want to make sure that I'm fact-based here. I think you said I wasn't honest. So I'm about to push back on that too with evidence to back up what we're talking about here. But how is it that you would sit here and say that you would never allow abuse? You are an advocate against abuse of children. And you will come on an adult survivor of child abuse's platform and tell us that we shouldn't be talking about it? How do you end abuse? How do you bring awareness to it? How do you help other victims realize they're victims so that they can become survivors if we don't talk about it? Tell me how. I won't be responding to any more of your comments with a video at all. I also think that maybe you're trying to leverage what I've built here, or not me, our community has built here with 136,000 survivors and people who want to support us. I'm kind of feeling like you're coming at me so people will look over at what you're doing, which is kind of touching on narcissistic abuse, but not really talking a whole lot about it, not sharing any of your experience. You're just kind of writing some words on a screen saying how damaging it is, and yet you're going out of your way to write on my platform to cause further damage, because silence is damaging. So are you trying to like pop people over to you? That's a possibility. Let me tell you how that works. It works for a hot minute. People will look. They might watch some videos, you'll get a little bit of a boost. That's about it. Because to be able to build a community, you have to have your heart in the right place. You have to be honest, and you have to provide something that people need. And what people don't need are people who are trying to silence abusers back into the dark where the abuse is happening and allowed to fester. That's not what people need. I wish you really the very best. I feel like you are an individual who is misguided and really hurting. And I know that I offended you, and I did it because I didn't care. So I will apologize for saying, I wonder what the C stands for. That was uncalled for. I don't need to behave that way. And I will acknowledge that that was bad behavior on my part, and there's no excuse for that. So for that, I apologize. For calling you a butterfly, that I won't apologize, because in my mind, that's not an insult. That's something that I identify certain people with that come flitting about, running their mouths and not, looking at the big picture. So I will forever look at you as being one of the butterflies that perhaps needs to scroll on by. But for the C word comment, I will definitely take that back and apologize. It was uncalled for, and I'm not proud of that behavior. All this said, I wish you peace, and I wish you coming on this platform and understanding that we're trying to heal together and to be a contributor. I invite you to contribute in a positive way rather than trying to insult me and belittle me and manipulate me into silence, because that's just simply not okay. That's all.